At the risk of sounding dense, I want to just keep going with this conversation because I think it's been great so far.
It's the theme of this day.
Yeah.
This is an intense group of powerful wanters who have practiced the art of resistance for quite a while.
So over lunch, my wife and I were talking about how this works. So in what I'm wanting, it seems to me that the small irritations that I have in my life cumulatively are much more detrimental to me than the large things I'm trying to accomplish or manifest. So
Good way of saying it, except we wouldn't say cumulatively as if they're piling up into something bigger. We would say consistently as they hold me consistently out of alignment. And
Right.
There's a difference.
Okay. So in a situation like that, where I have something that would be a small irritation, an irritation that in my estimation would last 10 seconds or less, somebody tailgating me or those types of things where it's fairly quick. At that moment, is it in my best interest to do the best I can to feel good about that? Making statements like maybe this person's needs to get somewhere very quickly, whatever I can do to help that.
Whatever it is. 10 seconds, not a problem. 17, a problem.
Because it'll attract more.
Under 17 seconds, there's no punch to it. But once it hits that 17-second mark, then law of attraction kicks in exponentially.
So in a situation like that where it's irritation, is there any benefit to me, or is it necessary for me to do some of the process you talked about earlier, which is trying to find an emotional feeling that replaces irritation with something more appropriate to the scale?
We like the direction you're going here. The reason that we're talking about these manifestations that have information in them is because most people have had these irritations, and they haven't been doing the work that you're proposing that you will do. So it ends up in a manifestation that now they've got the manifestation, and now they're really negatively focused because of the manifestation. So they're even less likely to shift the energy now the manifestation has happened, unless you've got hold of some really good tools like we're talking about here today, where you really take the time. But that is time consuming. You saw how much time we spent with several people, and during segment of lunch, Jerry said, I don't think anybody ever was really able to identify what their emotion was, because they're still sort of clueless about what the underlying emotion is, or the underlying vibrational stance is that is causing these results. The results are clear and obvious, but the reason for them not so much, because you have not been accustomed to thinking of yourselves as vibrational transmitters. You think of yourself as action-oriented. You think of yourself as effective, as good communicators, at good action people. You know how fast you type. You know how fast you drive. You know how fast you walk. You know how many miles you can run in an hour. In other words, you have equated yourself or described yourself through action for so much longer than you have been defining yourself through emotion or through vibration, that we know it feels awkward at first. But someone like you who has been listening for a while and really understands vibration, if someone is tailgating you and you feel irritation about it, and you notice your irritation even before you say something about it, or you say something about it and recognize that you're feeling irritation, the quickest way to get to a improved vibration about that is to say, how is the source within me looking at this situation? Having that question posed and ready for yourself to answer is a very good thing, because then you would say, well, source would always give them the benefit of the doubt. Your source would understand that no matter how egregious their behavior, that they're out there on the raw and ragged edge, and that it's not a personal thing that they're doing to you, and it's not a proclamation of your goodness or badness. It's only a vibrational match to what you've been feeling. So then you say, well, my source would give them the benefit of the doubt, and I haven't been, clearly, because I'm irritated. And then you would look in your rearview mirror and say right out loud, tailgater, what is it that I'm thinking about you, that I'm using as my excuse to not be who I really am? Well, I'm thinking that you're rude. I'm thinking that I must not be as good of a deliberate creator as I want to be, or you wouldn't be tailgating me, is what I think I'm thinking. I must not be doing as well as I thought I was doing. Thank you, tailgater, for being the manifestational evidence that lets me know where I'm going, how I'm doing vibrationally. So what's the underlying feeling in that? Is it one of defensiveness? Is it one of not enoughness?
If I turn it upon myself, it would be self-scrutiny, I suppose, because I'm allowing this situation to irritate me and to throw me off of my vibrational balance.
I'm mad at myself for not maintaining my balance because of something as insignificant as this. So then you stop and you say, well, my emotions are not insignificant. I'm glad I'm having this feeling of upheaval, because this vibration was within me before you tailgated me, or you wouldn't have tailgated me. And now I'm having the emotional response to your tailgating me, which is all good information. So good for me. I'm aware of how I feel, and good for me. I'm aware that I'm irritated, and good for me. I'm aware that it's silly for me to be irritated, and good for me. I'm glad that I'm a deliberate creator. And thank you, tailgater, for showing me that I'm a little more raw and ragged than I've been admitting to myself, and I feel better for having had this co-creation with you, and I harbor no ill will to you. I don't know what's going on in your life. Clearly you're out of whack a little bit, and I must be a little bit too, because here we are out of whacking together. And I wish you the very best as you are moving along your merry way, and thank you for this intervention, which has clearly helped me to realize what I've got going on here at very subtle levels that I didn't even know was going on. And I feel better for having had the experience, and thank you for this clearing process, because now I'm expecting more clear sailing as I'm moving along. Just with that 68 seconds or more of conversation, you have moved that vibration to a place where it was not before. And now you feel better for it. The air is fresher. You feel more alive. You feel more enlivened. You feel more eager. You feel more passion. You feel more deliberate. You feel more focused. Good enough?
Good enough. Thank you.